Welcome back to the Olive Oil Critic. I'm so grateful you're here learning a little bit more about olive oil every single day. There's so much to learn. And the oil that we're going to learn about today, and I'm going to share with you, which I haven't tasted yet, but I'm so excited, is this oil from Darmmess, and it is from Lebanon. This is a Lebanese oil, and I first have to comment on the bottle because it's beautiful, but there's a lot of really amazing information on here, which you don't naturally and normally find on olive oil bottles. So first, Monocultivar is listed. It is a Souri, which is often considered and typically considered to be one of the original olive trees. It's found throughout the Middle East, throughout Lebanon, Syria, throughout Israel, Palestine, Egypt, all of those countries, Jordan, all typically have Souri olives. They have other ones, of course, too, but it's one of the ones that are native to that region, to the very eastern Mediterranean. And it's made from trees that are up to 2,000 years old. So some of them, of course, are younger. But just the fact that they have on the bottle that it's at 580 meters, so these are high altitude trees, and that many of them are extremely old, just speaks to the love and care that has to go into creating this oil. If you're harvesting from trees that are that ancient, and to be able to pick them, get them to the mill in a very short timeline, that is not easy. Most of those trees have to be hand picked, hand raked, and that is very labor intensive. It's not like a machine can go through and harvest from those trees. So the intentionality that comes with this oil is definitely present, just knowing that it's ancient trees and the altitude at which they're working to be able to harvest is a big deal. The other great part is that there's a full chemistry analysis on this bottle. So underneath the nutritional facts label, it tells you Souri, of course. It has a medium pepperiness, medium bitterness, and medium fruitiness. So this is a well balanced, or let's hope the label is accurate. I'm sure it will be, but let's hope. And it's a medium, well balanced olive oil. It also lets us know that the peroxide value is at 3, which is extremely low. 20 is the pass for extra virgin grade. The acidity, 0.2 or below, which means you can heat this oil to at least 400 degrees. Phenols is 250. You've got minimal waxes. K232 and K270, again, very well in balance for the UV penetration, so an absorbency, which is amazing. And this is also a filtered oil, which we want to see. We don't want an oil with a lot of sediment in it, unless it's a Novello, a Nuovo, that is intentionally created to be unfiltered. We want our oils to be filtered. We don't want that remaining sediment in our oil that can contaminate it, can create muddy sediment and lots of different defects in our oil. As the oil oxidizes, it shrinks the shelf life greatly. So knowing that it's filtered is also really wonderful. So the information on this bottle is really wonderful. If I was to find this bottle in a grocery store, I would not hesitate to pick it up, because I know the producer knows what they're doing, because they're taking the time to actually put the details, put the information on the bottle. So that makes me really excited. This is also a woman-owned, woman-led farm, which I also love supporting. And there's a QR code to find out more about what she's doing and what they're up to. So yeah, this bottle is beautiful and well done. And I just love all of the information on the outside. So even before we crack it, we have so much information about this oil, which is what you want to see and find, especially when you're shopping and you can't taste. It's always good to have the details on the bottle. So let's give this a taste. So Souri is a beautiful cultivar. It's a big, fat, juicy olive, used for both table and oil. Nowadays, typically it's used for oil more than eating, but it can be used as a dual purpose olive. And like I said, these trees are old. I was in Israel in June a few months ago for Terra Olivo, and I saw some Souri trees, and one had actually been burnt down in part of a wildfire. And it was amazing to see the diameter of this tree. The wildfire was about 8 years ago. You could see where the rootstock was, and it had completely been hollowed out, basically entirely burnt down. There was only about 8 inches of rootstock connected to the trunk of the tree. And after 8 years, it's flourishing. These trees are so resilient. Olive trees, once they're established, are really considered immortal. It's almost impossible to kill them unless you intentionally cut them down, and then they still send up shoots from the roots. And to see this tree thriving and with so much damage done, lots of little shoots coming up from the roots, lots of new growth at the top. It was really incredible to see how these trees are just so resilient. And the resiliency, being high elevation with these trees, especially, it just means that this oil is likely going to be quite complex and very high in antioxidants. High antioxidants means that the tree is typically stressed, but that also offers lots of health benefits and lots of flavor and character as well. So let's see how this oil shows up in the glass. Lots of artichoke, lots of fresh grass as well. A little bit of tomato leaf in there. And it's very grassy and herbaceous. Mm. Oh, it's creamy, it's well-rounded, definitely artichoke on the tongue. That bitterness is a little bit sharp, it's really present, you can tell there's lots of antioxidants in here. This is a great example of Souri. Lots of pepper on the back of your palate, definitely. It's definitely intense. There's definitely a lot of presence of olive oil, of phenols in this oil. A lot of them. Whew. It's nice and peppery, really bold, lots of bitter flavor as well. Notes of arugula, lots of fresh artichoke, tomato leaf definitely present in this oil. Not a lot of ripe fruitiness, definitely very green, very complex. You've got fennel, you've got some mint, oregano. I'm trying to think of the word. That's the fun part with flavor, almost like lemongrass in this oil. It's definitely bright and vibrant, definitely capsicum finished on the back of your palate. This oil is bright and peppery. It would be delicious over labneh, like a thick yogurt with za'atar. It would be delicious on roasted chicken. I would love it with roasted potatoes as well, some garlic. Lots of versatility with this oil when it comes to cooking. It would be beautiful with roasted sweet potatoes and a salad dressing with some pepitas, over top of maybe some black beans and sweet potatoes, like a hearty roasted veg salad. This would be delicious with, again, roasted chicken, grilled chicken. It would be amazing even on the barbecue if you wanted to use it in that way. And again, because we know that free fatty acidity is less than 0.2%, that lets us know we can cook it to higher heat. It would be really good in a chimichurri if you wanted to make like a spicy herbaceous sauce to go over steak. This would be a great oil to kind of handle the garlic, handle those chili peppers, handle the acid and all of those complex flavors. This oil can definitely stand up to that because it's got lots of oomph. I might not call it medium because I definitely medium to robust. Um, I don't think it's a full robust, but definitely has a good intensity to it and a lingering intensity, which is really beautiful to see. It's well balanced and it's persistent. And those are two really good qualities. The aroma definitely matches the flavor profile. It's bright, it's round. You can tell that something beautiful is coming, which also makes me want to drizzle it over hot food. As a finishing oil, this would be beautiful to just send some extra aromatics into the dish. So as you're eating it and consuming the food, you can definitely get the aromas from the olive oil as well. Drizzling it over like a hot spicy pasta would be delicious. This would be good over copino, fish stews, bouillabaisse, anything like that. This oil would be really delicious with as well. Thinking about seafood, yes, it's slightly more delicate, but adding again garlic and tomato and all of those other complex flavors, this oil is not hiding. It's going to be present and you're going to find it within those flavors. And it's just going to tie everything together. The delicate notes of the seafood mixed with the tomatoes and the vegetables within that stew, making garlic toast with this and then using that to mop up a bouillabaisse would be absolutely incredible. There's lots of versatility with an oil that's this robust because you can use it with so many bright and delightful flavors. It's not something that's going to hide. So it's not a baking oil by any stretch. Don't use it for pancakes or anything like that. But this oil definitely is a good one for roasting, cooking, and sauteing. Right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this Souri, this Darmmess. It's a beautiful oil, a great example of the Souri olive. It's actually hard to find those in North America. It's not that common to find that cultivar here. It's rarely grown outside the Middle Eastern region. So to be able to have such a beautiful example here is really special. I hope you enjoyed tasting it with me, and I hope that you get a chance to taste it one day too.